So far we have seen about file parameters. Now let's look at some of the built-in parameters. Sometimes there will be a situations like you need to substitute date and parameter, date and time values as parameters. So in that situation, you can select date and time parameter. So this will help you to generate date and time value dynamically using the virtual user generator date and time function. So let's look at how this will be substituted. So by default it will show what is the sample time right now it is running. So it is showing me like right now my year and date and the what is the time. Okay, so based on the values there are the various formats that you can apply. So if you want to only hours and minutes and seconds, that you can come down here and select. So it will only select hours and minutes and seconds. So let me create another parameter, date time, or just let me take the date. So if you want to, there is a situation like you need to substitute current date. So what is the problem if you create a file parameter in file parameter as a date? So what happens, you need to every time whenever if you want to substitute the current date, you need to go and edit the file parameter if you want to substitute current date. But default, if you select the date and time, so by defaultly you can pick whatever the date and time parameter that you wanted to substitute. So you don't need to go and update anywhere. So it will by default it will take your current system date and time. So right now I'm just trying to print the current date in some format. So that is month, year, month, day and year. So let me take that. So percentage D refers to the date, percentage M refers to the month, and percentage Y refers to the year. So let me change the format in US format, just selecting it. So here it will show 03818, and if you want the full year you can select the Y. So you can explore that what are the various options. So if you select the small y, it will show only the 2 digits of the year. If you select the full capital Y, it will show the full year. Likewise, you can generate the date. So also let's look at the something called time. I'm just creating the time. So let's go back to the time date and time parameters. Here you can select hours, minute and seconds. Sometimes you may be needing milliseconds. So in that case you can select dot 000. So it will even show your time in milliseconds, and the delimiter whatever you want to put here, either you can put semicolon or you can put dot or you can put hyphen. So based on the delimiter it will automatically bring up the date and time parameters. So these are the various date and time parameters. So you can add whatever the format that you want. And next parameter we have group name. So group name is applicable whenever you create any controller scenario. So this comes as part of group name. So we will be covering more into whenever we're trying to create a controller scenario on that component. So as of now just remember, group name is shows the name for your group, so which will be substituted as part of your script. So we will mainly use this for the debugging purpose whenever you're executing in controller. And the next parameter, important parameter, iteration number. So we have seen previously in runtime settings we can change the number of iterations. It may be 1 2 3 or n number of iterations that you want to set. So if you select the iteration parameter, it will print the current iteration number. So let's say you're in right now we are not running, but it will by default show the 1. Let's say you're running your script for multiple iterations, so it will show the value for that iteration. If you're in second iteration and if you're trying to substitute this value somewhere, or if you want to print somewhere this value, it will show that value, it will show that iteration number using this iteration parameter. So let me create that iteration parameter, iteration number. So you can give that parameter as iteration number. Let me select the iteration number, and you may be you may be printing with a direct number, or you may be having, you may be want to print some preceding zeros. Let's say I want to put some zero before the iteration number. Like if you want to put as many as zeros, okay, if you want to put some three, if you want to put some three zeros before your script, so you can put percentage 0 3d. So likewise you can put as many as you want. It means including the your number. It may be, let's say, this is nothing but, you know how we check in the round format, the similarly it will add some preceding zeros including the number of iteration. Let's say your now I have selected percentage 06d, so the total digit count will be 6, and it will pad whatever the number of zeros to fill the 6 digits. So this will be useful whenever you're trying to put some advanced concepts or parameters. As of now, just remember it. And load generator name. So in the previous session of architecture of the load runner, we have seen like how to map load generators, how load generators will be used in the, with respect to controller. So if you want to print any particular load generator name in your script, so this load generator name parameter will be used. So let me create one more parameter for it, load generator name. So you can give whatever the name here for the parameter. So let me just select load generator name. Okay. And in sometimes you may be in situation like you need to generate some random number, so that flexibility also available using the parameter type called random number. So it will give you a range, it will ask for a range, okay, uh, between within range it will, you want to generate a random number, so you need to give the upper limit and the lower limit, so it will generate the value randomly, so you don't need to worry. So here there is one more option, again similar to the other concepts of the parameterization. For each occurrence, each iteration or once. So you can give starting number and ending number. And there is one condition like your starting number should be always lesser than your ending number. So it will generate any random number between 1000 and 100. So here you can add any preceding numbers like any padding zeros. Let's look at other parameter type table. So this table we will be going into some detailed session about it. So this is very rare case that we use. So let me find some real-time example on this and will explain you. Let me take another parameter, unique number. Unique number will generate unique number based on the parameter, based on the options that you select. So unique number will always take only one value, that is nothing but from where you want to start values. And there is one more option, it will take block size for user. Let's say I'm trying to execute the test for 3 users, and I mentioned block size per user is as 10, means each user will get 10 unique values. So totally 30 unique values will be allocated if you put 3 users. Let's say for the first user it will take the values from 100 to 109, and for the second user it will take values for 110 to 119, and for the third user it will take from 120 to 129. So likewise each user will get block of 10 unique values. And the next option available is user defined function. So this is also very rare case that you want to use the user definition. So here you can create a function in you can generate a DLL for it. You can generate that function in C Sharp or C++ using the Visual Studio. You can generate this DLL library, and you can mention that function name here. So as of now, this is a very rare case. So not even 0.1% in 100. Not many people will use this option. And the user ID. This is also one of the important parameter option that we need to learn about, and these will be also used in our day-to-day performance testing life. So let me create a parameter called vUser ID. So if you map it to vUser ID, let's say we have 3 users for your test. So the first user will get an ID called vUser ID equal to 1, and for the second user it will get to vUser ID as vUser2. Likewise, vUser ID nothing but it will show the what is the number of that particular user which you are executing. If you are having only one user, definitely the user id value will become 1. And the last option is XML. It is if you want to extract some value from the XML, or if you want to put some values from the XML, this option will be used. But it is very rare case people will use. So you can set the values in XML. So those values can be parsed through the your parameter. Let's say sample element, I'm giving it as a username. So I can set the username value as tester. So likewise you can create all the set of values. So here you can map it via whatever the parameters that you can create. So that is nothing but XML username. Sometimes you may need to supply your parameter values as an XML. So in that case this value will be used. So you don't need to create some external XML. You don't need to build any XMLs explicitly. So if you want to use any readily available test data or readily available parameters which are in form of XML, so that you can import them into your parameters list as an XML format. So those respective value will be extracted by this XML parameters. Those will be substituted. This is also very rarely used parameter types. So these are the various type of parameter options that we can use in our Vuegen scripting. Thank you.